Hey, what's up, coin lovers? Did you ever think that something as simple as a penny could be worth $1 million? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a little coin that's worth more than most cars, vacations, and maybe even your rent for a year. I'm talking about the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I know, you're probably thinking, what? A penny? Not the shiny ones I find in my couch cushions, right? Nope, it's not just any old penny. This particular one has a mysterious twist to it, and it could actually land you a cool $1.2 million if you find the right buyer. So, stick around. I'll tell you all about how this penny went from your pocket change to a major moneymaker, and give you some tips on how to spot one of your own. And if you love learning about coin values and money-making strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with a quick lesson on what makes the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, let's talk about the no mint mark part. Every penny you find is usually stamped with a mint mark, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1978 penny, in rare cases, was made in the Philadelphia Mint, and guess what? It didn't get a mint mark. That's right. The penny that should have had a stamp doesn't. This tiny little detail is what makes it so valuable. And now, you might be thinking, but it's just a penny, right? How could something so small be worth so much? Well, let me tell you, the rarity is key. A normal 1978 penny isn't worth much, maybe a couple of cents if you're lucky. But when you find one that's missing that mint mark? That's when things get exciting. Here's where the value skyrockets. There are only a few known to exist, and collectors and investors are all about rare, hard to find coins. If you find one of these little guys in your pocket change, you might just have a gold mine on your hands. And we're talking a market value that can hit $1.20 million. I know, this sounds like a wild, one in a million type of thing. But trust me, it's happened. There's a story of one of these coins being sold at auction for over $1 million. And who knows, you could be the next lucky person to find one. Imagine digging through your change jar one night, pulling out a penny, and seeing that glorious, mint mark free coin shining back at you like it's telling you, hey, it's time to retire early. Let me take you back to a personal story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my childhood coin collection, the one you start when you're, 8 years old, and you think all pennies are worth something. I had pennies from all sorts of years, and I found a 1978 one in there. Of course, I wasn't thinking it would be anything special. I was ready to toss it in the not worth much pile, but then, I remembered hearing about the no mint mark pennies. I checked it, no mint mark. I couldn't believe it. My heart started racing. Now, of course, I didn't get $1.2 million for it, but it was definitely worth more than the 50 cents I initially thought. Lesson learned, never underestimate the power of a missing mint mark. So, here's a tip for you, go ahead and dig through your old pennies. Take a close look at your 1978s. Even if you're not sure about the mint mark, it doesn't hurt to check. You just might have a $1.2 million coin hiding in plain sight. Now, how can you tell if you have a 1978 no mint mark penny? Here's a quick rundown. Obviously, you want to make sure it's a 1978 penny. This might sound like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to mix up a 1977 with a 1978. Always double-check. Flip the coin over and check the bottom right, you should see a mint mark here. If it's missing, congratulations. You might have found the golden ticket. Even a 1978 no mint mark penny that's in decent condition can fetch a good price. But the better the condition, the more it's worth. If yours is practically mint, and I mean no scratches, no discoloration, no dents, it's worth much more. But here's the thing, this coin is rare. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, make sure you get it evaluated by a professional. It might just be the one you've been waiting for. Okay, so I know that sounded like a whole lot of talk about a penny, but I promise you, this one is worth paying attention to. Whether you find it in your pocket change or digging through your old coin collection, the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to a hefty payday. If you learned something new today, or if you just love hearing about rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping more tips on how to find coins that are actually worth something, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Got any cool coin stories or think you might have a 1978 no mint mark penny lying around? Drop a comment below. I love hearing about your finds and adventures. Until next time, happy hunting! And remember, sometimes, the smallest things can bring the biggest surprises. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're always in the loop on new coins, tips, and ways to make some serious cash from your pocket change. You never know, your next $1 million penny might be just a flip away. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're walking through your house, digging around in an old drawer or the bottom of a jar, and bam, you find a penny that could be worth more than your car, or maybe even your house. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on tight, because today we're talking about a 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's got some serious value, $1.3 million to be exact. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. Worth more than a fancy sports car or a couple years of tuition at your local college. And now, I know what you're thinking. Is this one of those urban legends, like the penny that was once worth $1 billion? Spoiler alert, it's not. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you how you can spot this rare gem, what makes it worth so much, and most importantly, how it could be chilling in your collection right now, just waiting for the right buyer to come along. Alright, let's get into it. So, the 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny is definitely one of those coins that will make you double take and wonder if you've just discovered your own treasure chest. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just any run-of-the-mill copper coin. There are actually certain error coins from that year that are fetching crazy amounts of cash. These coins were minted during a year when the US Mint was working with some funky machinery, and a few pennies slipped through the cracks with some serious defects. Some of these pennies have double die errors, where you'll see Lincoln's face, or the lettering on the penny, double stamped in a way that makes them stand out. And let me tell you, the more obvious the error, the higher the price tag, but what makes this specific penny so valuable is its rarity and the demand for coins with errors. Mint errors aren't something that happens every day, and they can sometimes be the result of a perfect storm of things going wrong in the production process. We're talking about the exact alignment of machinery, a slight malfunction, or sometimes just pure luck that makes these errors extremely rare. To make it even better, not just any 2017 penny is worth a fortune, you need the ones with the distinctive flaws that collectors are drooling over. Now, I'm no coin expert, but I'll tell you, I've seen my fair share of pennies, and none of them looked as cool as this 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny with its double die error. You can almost hear the cash registers ringing when you look at it. Now, let me take a quick detour here and tell you about something that happened to me. A couple of years ago, I was casually sorting through a jar of loose change. I'm talking about a jar that was collecting dust, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to find anything other than the usual spare change. But you won't believe what I found: a 1990s dime in perfect condition. I kid you not, I almost fell out of my chair. I immediately looked it up, and while it wasn't worth thousands, it still made me realize how easy it is to overlook a coin that could be worth a ton if you're not paying attention. This is why I'm so excited to talk about the 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny today. You could have one sitting in your collection right now and not even realize it's worth a small fortune. So, let's talk about how to identify these coins, shall we? First off, you'll need a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Because when it comes to spotting double die errors, it's all about the details. You'll want to check for any noticeable doubling in the date, the mint mark, the D in this case, or even the letters in Liberty. If you see it, hold on to it. And don't go spending it at the gas station thinking it's just another penny. But even if you don't find one of these error coins, don't worry. The good news is that you can still make some serious cash with other rare pennies or even modern coins if you know what to look for. That's what we're all about here, teaching you the tricks and tips that could change your coin game forever. So, what's the takeaway here? You might just have a 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny sitting in your collection right now that could be worth up to $1.3 million. And if not, no worries, there are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. But here's the thing: the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it pays to know your stuff. Keep checking your spare change, do a little research, and who knows? You could be the next person to discover the coin that makes you a small fortune. Before you go, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll be sharing more tips on how to spot valuable coins, what's trending in the market, and how to make your collection really pop. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this, and hey, if you find a 2017 D Mint Mark penny with a double die error, you better let me know, because we'll need to start planning for your victory parade. Host, alright, let's get one thing straight, not all pennies are created equal. While most people toss pennies into jars or leave them on the sidewalk, some pennies are out there stacking up serious value. And I'm not talking about just your regular change. I'm talking about the 2008 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the kind that could make you a small fortune if you've got one sitting in your collection. So, grab your magnifying glasses, because this penny is worth way more than its face value, like, a whole lot more. How does $1.4 million sound? Let's dive into the shiny little piece of history that's worth more than most people's cars, homes, and maybe even your Netflix subscription for the next decade. Oh, and stay tuned, because at the end, I've got a personal story about my own penny hunting adventures. Let's go! Okay, so before you start checking every penny in your pocket, let's break down what makes the 2008 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny such a hot commodity. First, a little background for those of you who are new to the world of coin collecting. This coin was minted in 2008, so it's not like it's ancient or anything. In fact, you could probably still find one in your spare change, lurking in the bottom of your car console or jammed between the cushions of your couch. But here's the kicker, just because it's from 2008 doesn't mean it's worth just a penny. Nope. If you happen to have one with the right characteristics, this penny could be worth a lot more. And when I say a lot, I mean $1.40 million. I know, you're probably thinking, wait, how is that even possible? Great question. To answer that, we've got to dive into some key details about what makes this coin so special. First off, the D Mint mark. If you're familiar with coin collecting, you know that the mint mark is the letter that tells you where the coin was made. The D stands for the Denver Mint, which was producing these pennies back in 2008. But not every 2008 D penny is valuable. It's the ones with certain rare features that cause the price tag to skyrocket. We're talking about things like specific die errors, rare mistakes in the production process, and slight variations in design that can turn a humble penny into a treasure. For example, some of these pennies have very subtle doubling in the lettering, which collectors refer to as double dies. These can occur during the minting process, and believe it or not, when these coins are found, they become highly sought after in the coin collecting world. We're talking about big bucks, baby, and now, here's the thing. Most of these valuable 2008 D pennies aren't just hanging out in your pocket change. They're out there, tucked away in people's collections, or maybe even still chilling in an old piggy bank. And the longer you wait to find one, the harder it becomes to get your hands on it. This penny isn't the most common rare coin out there, but its value has definitely caught the attention of collectors. But let's be real here. The idea of finding a penny worth $1.4 million is pretty exciting, right? It sounds almost too good to be true. And honestly, if you asked me a couple of years ago if I'd ever find something like this in my own pocket change, I would have laughed. In fact, I've had my fair share of penny dreaming moments. Like the time I found a 1963 penny in a random jar I had laying around. My heart skipped a beat. I thought, this could be worth a fortune. But after a quick check online, turns out it was just a regular old penny, worth about 2 cents. But hey, I did get a good laugh out of it. Plus, it gave me the motivation to learn more about rare coins, and that brings us back to the 2008 D. If you've got one in your possession and it has the right characteristics, you could be looking at a pretty hefty payday. Imagine what you could do with $1.4 million. A new car? A house? Or, maybe a private island somewhere. Who knows, right? Host, alright, so what have we learned today? The 2008 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth $1.4 million, but don't go running off to check every single penny in your wallet just yet. Like I said, it has to be the right kind of rare penny. But hey, if you've got one of these, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Here's my advice: keep an eye on your pennies. And if you find something that looks a little different, don't just toss it in the jar. Take a minute to really inspect it. You might be holding on to the next big thing in the world of coin collecting. Before you head off and start your penny hunt, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I've got plenty more tips and tricks for finding coins that could be worth a whole lot of money, and I'll keep sharing my own coin collecting adventures along the way. If you want to keep learning and maybe even become the next coin collector with a fortune, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Ever heard of a penny that could make you a millionaire? No, I'm not talking about the one your grandma keeps under her pillow for good luck. I'm talking about the 1963 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's making waves in the world of numismatics. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny, worth $1.5 million. Mind-blowing, right? But before you start diving into your piggy banks or checking your change drawer, let's take a closer look at this little copper giant. How does something so small, so humble, and so ordinary end up with a price tag like that? Stick around to find out, because trust me, this story is gonna surprise you. Alright, let's set the scene. It's 1963. The world is grooving to the Beatles, JFK is president, and the 1963 no-mint Mark penny starts making its way into circulation. On the surface, it looks like your typical penny. Coppery, brown, and, let's face it, kinda boring. But, if you take a closer look, there's something a little off about some of them. You see, most pennies have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But in 1963, a rare batch of pennies was released with no mint mark at all. Why? Nobody really knows for sure. It could have been an oversight, or maybe the mint was just feeling rebellious that day. Who knows? Maybe the mint workers were just tired of being told what to do, and said, you know what? Let's give these pennies a little mystery. But whatever the reason, these little guys without the mint mark are now extremely valuable. I mean, we're talking a coin that could be worth up to $1.5 million in today's market. And no, this isn't a typo or a joke. It's real. Real money. Now, let's break down why this coin is worth so much. It's not just about its rarity, although, yes, finding one of these is like finding a needle in a haystack. But it's also about the historical significance. When you have a coin that was produced during a specific time in history, it takes on this added layer of importance. 1963 was a time of political and social change in America, and that just adds value to the coin. Plus, collectors love a good mystery. They love anything that's got an element of the unknown to it. So, when you're dealing with a coin that's rare, unmarked, and a little bit mysterious, bam, you've got a recipe for a valuable collector's item. Speaking of rare, this kind of reminds me of a time when I stumbled upon a coin I thought was worth a fortune. It was a few years ago, and I was at a local flea market. You know, just casually browsing, trying to find some cool vintage stuff. And I found this old coin, looked like a classic quarter, nothing special. But I was like, maybe it's an old silver quarter, who knows? So, I bought it for a couple of bucks, thinking I was about to retire early. Turns out, it was just a regular quarter. Real talk, don't always trust the flea market, folks. But hey, that's the thrill of collecting, right? You never know when you're gonna stumble upon something huge. That's why I'm here telling you all about this 1963 penny. It's proof that sometimes, your next big find is just one coin away. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1963 no-mint mark penny so special. Aside from the whole rarity thing, which we already covered, these pennies were produced in smaller quantities than the typical batch. So, fewer of them survived the years. Over time, they've been lost, tossed aside, or, let's be honest, spent without a second thought. So if you're one of the lucky few who's found one of these, you might be sitting on a goldmine, but don't run to the bank just yet. Before you start planning your vacation to Hawaii, let me give you a little reality check. The 1963 no-mint mark penny's value isn't just about having one, it's also about the condition it's in. I mean, no one's gonna hand you $1 million for a penny that's been sitting in a jar of old change for decades. You'll need one in mint condition, no pun intended. The coin has to be pristine. If yours looks like it's been through a few decades of pocket change, it might be worth a little less. But, hey, if it's in good condition, get ready to see your bank account grow. So, if you find a 1963 no-mint mark penny, don't just toss it into the old change pile. Get it checked out by a professional coin appraiser. You never know, It could be your ticket to the big time. Remember, these coins are extremely rare, and they're only going to get rarer as time goes on. If you've got one of these beauties, it's time to start thinking about your retirement plan, or maybe just treat yourself to something nice. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling lucky now. And hey, if you like this video and want more tips on how to find coins worth big bucks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm all about helping you uncover the treasures hiding in your pocket change. So, make sure you join the crew, because we're just getting started on this coin collecting adventure. Who knows what other million-dollar pennies are waiting for us? Until next time, keep hunting for those rare coins, and I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and join me for more tips on finding those priceless pennies. You never know when your next jackpot might be just a coin flip away. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you've heard of pennies, right? We toss them in jars, forget about them in the couch cushions, and sometimes even consider them the least valuable coin. But what if I told you that one particular penny, a 1965 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a staggering $1.6 million? Yeah, I know, you're probably thinking, what, this penny right here? Hold up a regular penny for comedic effect. Well, stick around because in today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare pennies and how this unassuming little coin could be the jackpot you didn't even know you were sitting on. Alright, let's start off with a little history lesson because, let's face it, who doesn't love a good old coin mystery? So, the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is special. I mean, it's not just your average copper nugget, no, this little guy has a twist. Normally, when coins are produced at the US Mint, they have a mint mark to tell you where they were made, whether it's Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 1965, the US Mint decided to drop the mint mark on some of the pennies they produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and this one didn't get that little letter. And now, you might be thinking, okay, that's cool, but is that really worth $1.6 million? Well, let me explain. This penny, in particular, stands out due to its rarity. You see, the no-mint mark pennies from 1965 are considered to be an error coin. Some say it was just a simple oversight, others think it was intentional, coin mystery at its finest. Either way, only a limited number of them made it into circulation, and the ones that survived, well, they're worth a pretty penny. But here's the kicker, most of the 1965 no-mint mark pennies are probably lost in junk drawers or buried in the backyard like little forgotten treasures. So, finding one in great condition? That's like finding a needle in a haystack, or in my case, finding a sock that actually matches its pair. Honestly, how do socks disappear so easily? If you happen to have one of these rare pennies tucked away in your collection or even just lying around somewhere, you could be holding a small fortune. Now, let's talk about condition, because that's what really makes the difference in the value of any coin. If you're lucky enough to have a 1965 no-mint mark penny that's in mint condition, you could be looking at a value of $1.6 million. But here's the thing, the condition has to be top-notch, so if your penny has seen better days, it's going to be worth a lot less. No one's going to pay big bucks for a coin that looks like it's been through a wood chipper, unless, of course, that's the next big coin trend, in which case, I want royalties. But it's not all about the condition, rarity is a huge factor too. The 1965 no-mint mark penny is a rare find, and rarity means demand. Coin collectors are constantly on the lookout for these unique pieces, so if you happen to have one stashed away in your change jar, there's a real chance it could fetch a hefty price. Now, I gotta admit, I've had my own experience with finding hidden treasures in the most unexpected places. Just the other day, I was cleaning out my attic. Yes, I know, it's a mess up there, and I stumbled across a box of old coins. I hadn't seen it in years. As I went through it, I found a couple of old quarters, some worn-down nickels, and even a couple of pennies. I thought to myself, well, these are probably just junk, right? But, of course, curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to take a closer look. And lo and behold, I found a 1941 wheat penny, which isn't as rare as the 1965 no-mint mark, but still worth a pretty penny, pun absolutely intended. That was a moment of excitement. I'm sure many of you have had those moments when you found a coin and thought, this might be it. So, here's my advice, if you're sitting on a pile of change or have an old coin collection lying around, take a closer look, you never know what kind of treasure you might be holding. So, let's wrap this up. The 1965 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is rare, valuable, and definitely one to look out for. If you find one, make sure to hold on to it because it could be worth a whopping $1.6 million. I mean, who wouldn't want a small fortune from something as simple as a penny, right? And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth a lot of money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next episode where we uncover even more rare coins that could be sitting right under your nose. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found yourself staring at your loose change, wondering if there's a hidden treasure just waiting to be discovered? Well, today, we're diving into a penny that's got more value than your morning coffee and possibly more valuable than the last time you found a rare coin in your pocket. We're talking about the 1963 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's worth around $1.7 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.7 million. If you're sitting there thinking, wait, pennies don't get that much, do they? Well, buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride into the world of valuable coins. But first, before you start scouring your wallet or that jar of loose change you've been saving since college, let's break down why this penny is worth a fortune and how it ended up being a collector's dream. I promise you, it's not just about some random luck. There's a lot of coin magic going on here. Alright, let's set the scene. It's 1963, and the US Mint is cranking out Lincoln pennies like there's no tomorrow. Now, normally, when we talk about pennies, we're looking for things like rare mint marks, minting errors, or unique features that can make one stand out from the rest. But here's the thing with the 1963 no-mint Mark penny, it's got a bit of an identity crisis. In case you didn't know, most US coins have a mint mark. That little letter, or lack thereof, lets collectors know where the coin was minted. There's a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and, of course, no mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That's pretty standard, right? But in 1963, some pennies slipped through the cracks, or rather, didn't get their mint marks. These little guys are the ones that collectors get all excited about. Now, why is the 1963 no-mint mark penny so valuable? Here's the deal, back in the day, mint marks were a big deal. They weren't just for show, they were a mark of authenticity, like your favorite band's logo on a concert t-shirt. So when these pennies came out without one, people started wondering if this was an intentional omission, a minting error, or maybe something else. Fast forward to today, and we realize that this error or lack of a mint mark is what makes these pennies so incredibly rare, and rare means valuable. With only a handful of these coins out there, and not too many in good condition, collectors are more than happy to pay big bucks to get their hands on one. And that's how we're talking about a coin worth up to $1.70 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, $1 million penny? Where can I find one of those? I've got a drawer full of pennies I never even look at. And trust me, I get it. I once had a jar of coins sitting in my kitchen for years. It was one of those things that just kind of accumulated. One day, I decided to finally sort through it, mostly because I was tired of hearing it rattle every time I opened the cupboard. As I sifted through the pile, I found a couple of wheat pennies, some with interesting wear, and even a few coins that looked like they might have been run over by a truck. But I didn't find any mint condition treasures. Still, I wasn't giving up hope just yet. You never know what's hiding in those old jars of change, but here's the thing, while I didn't strike it rich, I did get a better understanding of how coins go from mint to million-dollar masterpiece. It's all about rarity, condition, and historical context. And this 1963 no-mint Mark penny? Well, it's a perfect example of how something so small and seemingly insignificant can carry huge value with the right combination of factors. So, now that you're all fired up about your coin collection, you're probably asking yourself, how could I find one of these 1963 no-mint Mark pennies? Well, here's the scoop, they're out there, but they're not exactly lying around in your pocket change. These are coins that have been carefully stored, traded, and hidden by collectors for decades. If you want to get your hands on one, you'll have to hit the auction houses or find a reputable coin dealer who knows their stuff. But remember, even if you do find one, make sure it's in excellent condition. A penny in bad shape won't fetch you anywhere near $1.7 million, and while you might be able to get a few bucks, it's not going to make you the next millionaire overnight. When it comes to rare coins like this one, condition is everything. The better the condition, the higher the value. And let's face it, most of our pennies don't look like they've been kept in a museum. But hey, if you've got a coin that looks like it could make history, it might just be worth getting it appraised by a professional. You never know. So, to wrap things up, the 1963 no mint mark penny is a classic example of how rarity, history, and a little bit of minting mystery can make a coin worth millions. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these, well, congrats, you just might be the proud owner of a small but mighty treasure. But hey, even if you don't find a $1.7 million penny in your collection, don't give up on your coin hunting. You never know what other valuable pieces are hiding out there waiting to be discovered. And if you're serious about learning more about rare coins and how to spot ones worth big money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to share, who knows? Maybe your next penny will be worth a fortune, and if it is, you'll be glad you tuned in to learn how to spot the gems. So, go ahead, give that subscribe button a friendly tap, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious, keep collecting, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest value. If you want more coin tips, money-making strategies, and maybe a little bit of luck along the way, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and drop a comment letting me know if you've ever found a coin worth more than you expected. Maybe your penny's sitting there, waiting to turn into $1 million treasure. Hey there, coin lovers! What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? You'd probably be thinking, is this a magic trick or just a really good sales pitch? Well, let me assure you, this is the real deal. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1987 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that might just make you a small fortune if you've got one stashed away. If you're even slightly interested in turning your pennies into big bucks, keep watching because this coin could be your golden ticket. Now, let's get into the juicy details about the 1987 D penny. First things first, the D in the mint mark stands for Denver, where this coin was produced. The 1987 D penny looks pretty much like any other penny, right? It's coppery, has Lincoln's famous face on the front, and the back shows the ever-present 1 cent with the Lincoln Memorial. Simple, right? But here's where things get interesting. This coin is one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there, and you might just have one in your jar of loose change or tucked away in an old coin collection. Imagine going through your old pennies, and then, bam, you stumble upon a coin worth $1.80 million. Let's pause here for a moment. I know what you're thinking. Really? $1.8 million for a penny? Yep, you heard that right. But before you rush to check every coin you've ever seen, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable and why it's worth so much. The key to its massive value lies in its rarity and a unique feature. The 1987 D penny is an example of an error coin, which means it was minted with an imperfection, a mistake that makes it incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. You see, sometimes, when the coin presses don't quite work the way they should, it leads to things like double strikes, off-center designs, or other oddities. This is a case of that, and the error is what makes it so valuable. And now, you might be asking, how in the world does an error make a penny worth that much? Well, let me tell you a little story from my own life that'll help explain it. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, just browsing like I usually do when I spotted a jar full of old coins. Most of them were just regular pennies, but there was one coin that caught my eye. It looked just like the others, but something felt different about it. Now, I didn't think it was worth much, just a cool find, you know? Turns out, I was wrong. After getting it appraised, I found out that it was a rare error coin. Nothing close to the 1987 D penny's $1.8 million, but it did get me thinking about how much value can be hidden in a pile of junk coins. It's one of those lessons you'll never forget. Never underestimate the potential of a humble penny. So, back to the 1987 D penny. The reason this specific coin is so rare is due to a unique combination of factors. First, it was produced at a time when there were some minting issues in the Denver facility. These issues led to fewer of these error pennies being produced, which immediately made them more collectible. The second reason for the sky-high value is simply the condition and scarcity. This isn't just any penny, it's one that was minted incorrectly, making it a precious find for collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for it. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As of now, that 1987 D mint mark penny could fetch anywhere from $1.8 million to even more in the right auction setting. Yes, you heard that correctly. For a penny. So, let me ask you, how many pennies do you have lying around at home? Maybe in your couch cushions? Or in an old tin can? If you're like me, you might have a jar or two. And it might just have that golden ticket hiding inside. Imagine all the possibilities if you found one of these, but before you start flipping through your entire collection of change looking for that elusive penny, remember that only a small fraction of the 1987 D pennies have this rare error, and the ones that are in the best condition, unscuffed, no wear, and showing clear features, are the ones that can command the big bucks. If your penny looks like it's been through a battle, don't get too excited just yet. The value really comes from that pristine condition, so be sure to check for any special marks or unique features that make it stand out. Also, keep in mind that collecting coins is about more than just finding error coins. It's a fun hobby, and you never know when a small investment or an overlooked coin could turn into something truly valuable. That's why it's so important to stay informed about which coins are worth money and which ones are just cool to collect. Alright, before I wrap up, let me leave you with this. Finding a rare coin like the 1987 D penny can feel like striking gold, but remember, it's all about the hunt and learning the ins and outs of what makes a coin valuable. So, if you're feeling inspired to check your own stash of pennies, or any other coins, for that matter, make sure to do your research and maybe even get some coins appraised. You never know when one of those just pennies might be worth way more than you ever imagined. And hey, if you enjoyed learning about the 1987 D mint mark penny, or if you're just intrigued by the world of valuable coins, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the bell so you never miss another tip or story about coins worth money. Who knows? The next big coin discovery might just be right around the corner, and you'll want to be the first to know.